All right, good evening, everyone. This is a regular meeting of the Meadows Place City Council. It's Tuesday, July 28th at 6:30 p.m. at Meadows Place City Hall. As you can tell, we're a little different. We're closed to the public. We do have some specific invitees. We're thrilled that they're here. We're all COVID spread. And we're ready to get down to business. Item number A is call to order. Announce a quorum is present. We have someone to lead us in the invocation. Meadows Place resident. Y'all all be able to recognize him. Oh, no, you won't. Jimmy Fenwick, we thank you very much. We need to have somebody to do the Pledge of Allegiance and lead us in, and I thought we'd give that honor this evening to our Public Works Director, Eric Chance. So if you would lead us in the pledge, and then Jimmy can move over and lead us next. Take off. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for your protection and your support through this time. And Lord, we thank you so much for this wonderful city and allowing us to be a part of this city. Lord, we thank you for all of the leaders, the servants, the volunteers, everybody who pours into this city and makes it the amazing community that it is. Even in a time like this, we see how a city can come together and care for each other, and we thank you for that. As we look to the business of this city, Lord, we just ask that you are present. You are in the center of these discussions, God, and you continue to bless this meeting and bless all those who are involved. Again, Lord, we ask for your protection, that you continue to watch over all of us and protect us, but especially those who are in the front line, those who are serving the community, those who are caring for those who are in need, the essential workers, Lord, and we just ask that you continue just to be with us. It's in your son's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Jimmy. So nice to have you here. We do have a couple presentations this evening. And if I could have them, I'll meet y'all. First of all, Dan Denny. Sorry, Daniel. I'm assuming you can hear. All right. This is it's a surprise to me that you've been here 10 years.
Right?
On multiple levels, Dan.
Yeah. Everything.
But, hey, no, seriously, Dan has been out there and has been here now 10 years, and we're going to award him a certificate of appreciation and a pen that has that's a real emerald. Yeah, don't hawk it. Dan's had an impact on this city in ways that we don't often think of. But every time you go out there by that lake, I want you to think of the guy who stood out there in the summer of 2011 without a rain delay break and dug a trench, laid a pipeline, and filled the lake. Did a lot of work, and our guys did that, for those people that don't know that, and I'm so impressed with that. We got a picture out there, and I've got some pictures of that Dan, with you sitting by that old purple valve when we were getting ready to turn it on, and I'm appreciative. And ladies and gentlemen, we're here this evening to recognize the valuable contribution for the City of Meadows Place now for 10 years. Dan, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
And I want somebody to take a picture. Kelly, let's slide over here so she can see us. Where you want us? All right. Hey, wait, don't run off. Take that home next year too.
All right, thank you very much.
Glad to see you. Put another And Madonna, yes, absolutely. As hard as it was for me to believe that Dan has been here 10 years. I know, I'm just shocked. And Madonna came over to City of Meadows Place and filled a void that we had at the time. It was a tough decision and one that I know the chief was anxious about, putting somebody good in there to deal with the public on first calls under pressure situations. And she sits in there, and I forget what it's called, communication specialist or whatever, but basically she's the dispatch person. She answers the calls when people are panicking, where people are looking for help and things like that. Madonna takes that call, and that's not easy all the time, is it? But I wanted to say thank you very much. Again, this is a certificate of appreciation. We do appreciate you being here every day. We appreciate you working so hard on our behalf and looking after us out here in the city. Madonna, it is a big deal. And I do want to present you with this and look at the chief, because I know he wants a picture of you. Let's see if he... Yes, and that is a real emerald. I'm not sure about his, but I know absolutely, I'd be happy to. Y'all give Madonna and Danny a great big round of applause. It's nice to have somebody here to recognize for their service for the city. We really do appreciate it. Now we're off to the business part. And this is the police department reports, and the chief is going to come up and give us this.
Evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you all. I get my eyes on so I can see. And hopefully they don't fog up too bad. I'm going to take this down. Okay, for the report this month, as always, we start out with our number of accidents. You can see there were 4. I have documented below, again, Rick, as you follow this, that the number of accidents and where they were at. 2 were 18-wheelers that caused damage in the roundabouts. One at Scottsbell, one at Brook Meadow. So that's that. The number of arrests is 1. We had number of calls for service was 2,430. Number of reports were 44. Total traffic citations 369 with charges of 634. City ordinance citations issued was 0. Warnings issued for traffic 102 with 236 charges. Our warnings for city ordinance violation were 12 with a total activity count of 3,361. Assaults, as we go down the list, were 1. We had 9 BMVs, 0 burglary of business, 0 residential burglaries. Business checks were at 534. We did have 12 under close patrol. Criminal mischief at 1, criminal mischief 1, fraud 2. House watches were at 242. Park security 116. Property checks at 676. 0 robberies. School checks at 32. Tennis court 85. Total property checks were 1,251. Theft, we had 8. UUMV, we did have 1. Again, that stands for unauthorized use of motor vehicle. TLC, we had 31 pass with 20 failures, and for a total of 51 checks on the TLC program. Most of the activities, have been canceled, so we're doing that. As far as the city ordinance breakdown for the warnings, we had 8 for solicitors, 4 for noise complaint, and that was the total of 12. We did and are still continuing to disinfect the PD cars with foggers every day. The actual report in the back with all the notes, I usually don't comment on those. I'll let y'all read those. There is one that made the unofficial Facebook page, so I'm going to bring that up, which was we did have a sexual assault of a child in which HPD was the original jurisdiction that was contacted. It turned out it was not in their jurisdiction. They had multiple cars out because this was due to a text, 911 text. They had to ping the phone. They had multiple units in different areas of Houston that were around the area that were checking. They pinged it, found it to be in our jurisdiction, so called us, and of course we worked the case. That case resulted in the removal of the child through CPS. We're setting up our interview process through the CAC, our typical process for investigation. But that's why I know y'all are curious about the HPD cars in the jurisdiction, and that's why. Going to my notes section.
Although, Chief, I would like to point out, it is not unusual to have HPD cars in our city.
No.
For most of y'all that have been on council for a while, will know, but for those people in the audience that may not, the chief works with task forces in other cities, including Houston. Houston has a drug task force, and if they have, for instance, a suspect here in Meadows Place, they'll show up sometimes in mass with HPD cars and swoop in, clear the problem, and leave. And Chief Works knows about those coming in and works with us, so it's not completely unusual to see that happen. Or he'll work with any of the other forces surrounding a city needs to. But I want to point that out.
Chief, on that assault, it says Dorrance Lane. Was that one on Scottsdale?
It was right there at the.
Okay.
But that is the call.
Okay, good deal.
It's Dorrance at Scottsdale. So, other than that, I did want to talk about the arrest that actually, since the sergeant's here, it was Sergeant Domus who got the guy who's evading arrest, and while she stopped him, ended up in Houston. It wasn't a high-speed pursuit, but she did have to pursue him. And he was transported to Fort Bend County Jail for evading, and he had multiple probation violations. So we're glad to get him a new home in Fort Bend County Jail. With that, the additional notes section, the first page is the same thing I've been printing each time because it's about COVID and our process, and some additional stuff regarding training. So I'm on the second page, about halfway down is where the comments I'm putting in. One of the things that we had this past month, of course, was the 4th of July fireworks that we had 0 incidences with. The observation from the officers were that everybody were practicing safe distancing. They seemed to really enjoy it. It was a huge hit. The feedback we were getting out there as well, and I thought that was worth mentioning because I know that was a concern for a lot of people at some point in time, but I think that everybody played their part and played it well and enjoyed it. The EOC, we're still in the process of setting everything up as far as preparation. We did yesterday discover that we had a problem during the generator scheduled test time. The generator failed to supply power to the EOC. Today, Eric from the Director of Public Works, Captain Jack, myself, USW, Aero Electric, and World Wire Generators all met at the facility to find the source of the issue. World Generators found the voltage regulator was inoperable. They are ordering parts and the repair should be up. We're looking hopefully by the end of the week, barring any unforeseen issues. So it just worked out that way, and hopefully that'll get it up and running to where we need to be. The second part of it is our 2 officers that are out for the COVID-19 are following up with additional tests. Both have received their first negative test and are waiting to take the second one. And we're moving forward with that and getting regular updates from them. Training, a lot of people have asked about training. We are mostly doing that online or in small groups as needed. And then on August 19th, we're hosting TML for a Will Day for officers, which involves their families as well. We're currently putting together our purchase order for the SRT equipment and Connex for storage that was approved by you, Mayor and Council. We're waiting for bids from Joe Salvide on Aero Electric for the Connex container and the placement of that on the pad that we talked about. And I just want to thank y'all for y'all's investment in your police department. I really appreciate that. And we are moving forward with that project. In fact, we're also putting together an MOU with Sugar Land at this time, talk to the chief, and we're putting it together for the SRT training and the reciprocal response for events. So we're working through those MOUs right now as well. And that'll conclude my report.
All right. Anybody got a question for the chief?
Yes, I do, Chief. Well, with all the stuff going on in the news, how is the spirits of the officers out there?
They're great. We have great officers, as y'all know. They're very committed to their jobs. Since we don't have the same relationship other departments have sometimes in their communities, we have a better one. Just the way it is, that our officers are in good spirits, and I'm very proud of them. Very proud.
Oh, great. Thank you very much. I'm sure council thanks them as well.
Yes, sir. This one's, okay, there it goes.
Two of the items on the backup. The first is the damage to the Oakland County Sheriff's Office deputy patrol car.
Yes.
Do we think that's personal against him, or do we think that's general against police officers?
Right now, we don't know, but we are investigating it, and since it's under investigation, I really can't disclose.
The other one is the business that has the video system that's not operable.
Yes.
At least the second month that has not been operable. I'd like us to coordinate maybe the police department, maybe the mayor. Let's touch base not only with the manager, but the regional manager. Let's start going up the food chain.
Sure.
Because that doesn't help us help them when they don't have an option.
It doesn't. No, and we've mentioned it several times, and of course in our contacts, it's very disappointing for us when we don't have that. That's a very good source for leads for us, so definitely.
I don't think that that's appropriate for that business to,
No.
as much activity as we have in their parking lot, to not have an operational video system.
I agree completely.
I don't want to name the business,
No, no.
so the people out there don't know where to go
No,
rob.
That's why I didn't ask you.
But we know what it is for our sake, so.
Yeah, I understand. All right, anybody else? All right, Chief, I want to say thanks for everybody that goes out there. I appreciate your input. I appreciate the fact that you're cognizant of the fact that we have a better relationship with our police than others do. And a lot of that is initiated by the citizens, but a lot of it's initiated by you and your staff and your officers. We see it all the time where somebody stopped and helped somebody or talked to somebody, addressed somebody, answered questions for somebody, all of the above. So we want to say thank you very, very much, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's it.
Appreciate it.
We'll move on.
All right, thank you.
Item 2, Public Works reports. Eric Chance, Public Works Director.
Mayor, Council, good evening. I'll be brief. During the month of May, MagnaFlow, due to the increase of water that we had from March through May, related to the COVID-19 situation, MagnaFlow came out and they extracted a lot of the sludge there at the wastewater treatment plant, one of the items that was done in May. Also, as y'all heard this past Saturday during the budget meeting, the irrigation inventory began in the month of May. It's a kind of a work in progress where that identifies all of the city-owned property where we currently have irrigation. So that was that had started during the month of May. During that month, we only had one water main break there at Meadow Trail. And then for the month, the water pump from all three wells was 14,037, and we, through the reclaimed water system, 451,000 gallons. Moving on to the month of June, annually, TCEQ requires all public works directors to compile the annual Consumer Confidence Report. For the drinking water quality report, that is posted on our website. Thank you, Courtney, for doing that. That's an important piece of information to all our residents concerning our water quality. The annual fire alarm or fire extinguisher inspection occurred every June. Just like clockwork, there was no hiccups. Out of 34, I think we had 3 that needed to be repaired out of all the city facilities. There was a roof repair made over the server room at the EOC during the month of June. That has been completed and is holding well during these recent rains. Had the opportunity to work with Josh Merritt beginning in the month of June on a water collection distribution video. Really excited about that. Josh is kind of real creative, and he's kind of putting all this information together in layman's terms, so that'll be forthcoming. Probably at the end of this month, that'll be completed, Mayor. Moving on, we had 5 total water main breaks during the month of June, and you see the addresses there in the report. The total amount of water pumped from all 3 wells calculated about 17 million gallons, and then the reclaim was about 726,000 for the month. Moving on to the month of July, Public Works staff is 100%, Public Works staff attended some TEACS wastewater training. That was myself. It was a remote training where 40 hours were condensed into 24 hours. It went pretty flawless. It was some good training. Also during the month of July, Public Works completed all the NIMS training required for EOC operations. To date, and I have a little correction here, that the total number of water mains should be 3, not 2. We actually incurred one Friday night about 4 p.m. at 12231 Brighton. There at Brighton, west of Mulholland. The water pump for all 3 wells, so far as of the 23rd of this month, we're up to 133 million. Sir? No, that's. I'll go back and check that. Okay. And then for the reclaimed, it was about 475,000 gallons. Also during the month of July, we had an issue with one of the wheels on the Clarifier Bridge, the traveling bridge. Basically, it cracked, and so we're in the process at this time. The work that was done about 2.5, 3 months ago is still under warranty, which is a good thing for us. And so by next Wednesday, a new wheel will be fabricated, and that should be fixed. That basically concludes my report. Are there any questions or concerns that?
Go ahead, Steve.
So, Eric, did we pass the fire extinguisher test?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Good. Great.
Basically, it's just a company that comes out once a year in June and just does an inventory and then retags each fire extinguisher.
Now, repairing the roof on EOC facility.
Mhm.
That seems a little early to have to replace the roof. What's going on there?
What happened there where the copper lines come in from one of the rooftop units there at the EOC, where it goes into a PVC pipe above, wasn't really the way it was constructed, I guess. It just needed, it was leaking, and it just so happened to be. It wasn't a bad leak, but it was, yeah, on the ceiling tile. But that has been resolved, Steve, but it's just something we'll have to monitor. I mean, it wasn't actually the roof membrane that cracked or anything. It was water coming down a pipe, which was the conduit for the copper lines. It cost us $700.
And the water went from, ignoring July, but it went from 14 to 17 million, 3 million jump. Is that because of waters, people watering their yard, or
Not only that, but
is that a normal
more
thing?
folks being home, using more water. Some folks aren't working, so it's a compilation of several different
We
things.
would expect that too.
Yes, yes.
We always see a big increase during the summer for people watering their lawns.
That's a lot of water.
Question on the EOC, is any part of that building still under warranty?
No.
That's what I was going to ask, and then when I heard it was 700.
My turn, I guess. Eric, on these pipe repairs for the water mains, I know we discussed on Saturday a storage unit for bank sand, so on and so forth. Have we been using bank sand to backfill the pipes that we've repaired to date?
No, we haven't. In fact, that's one of the things that I would like to do and work with USW on, is to have that bank sand available. USW would purchase those quantities and just have it on site. But in the past, we have not. They have been, once they get to the pipe, they just basically take out the slop, make the repair, and put the slop back in the hole.
Okay, thank you.
And John, that's part of the reason why I've got the big bird bath in front of my house. That pipe's been repaired 3 times, and they just put the slot back in there, and then the pavement falls. I mean, that's going to be one of the things as we go into the infrastructure repairs, get some updated standards and start doing things a little bit better to help try to take care of those repair costs.
I'm getting feedback on the live stream. Everybody, please talk into y'all's microphones. They cannot hear y'all. Especially you,
Test.
Charlie.
All right, we've all been warned. And so we'll try to get close enough to where we can sound like we're being heard, and we probably will be. Okay, Eric, I know y'all are working on the irrigation.
Yes, sir.
I'm encouraged by the progress you made, and we're going to be sitting down there and continuing to work with you on that.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully we can get this down systematically. So keep working on that and keep plugging away on it. Does anybody have any questions for Eric other than that? Okay. Well, Eric, thank you very much.
Thank you much.
Appreciate it. Drive careful on your way home. Oh, I do have one question. Did we notify Marcon, HDR, and CenterPoint as far as the sectional lights that's out?
Yes, sir, we did. We did. Yes, sir.
I thought I saw something on that, but I want to confirm it. Okay. And next up, and I know this is an exciting one, is the fire department report. And it's exciting because I get to give it. And I get to point out that this for the last time since we were here, we've had 41 EMS calls. That's a lot, even for us. But I think with everybody at home, COVID responses into the senior village, et cetera, it's up about 10, 11 calls higher than it was. We had 1 fire carbon monoxide call. We had 9 good intents and 3 other fire related for a total of 54 responses. between fire and EMS this last 30 days. Again, 30 of them were during the weekday. 13 of them were in the weekend day, with 6 at weeknight and 5 in weekend night for the 54. Again, we have had fire marshal activity here in the city of Meadows Place. They actually came in and did some inspections at Kids Zone, Helfman Ford. They did some public education over at Kids Zone, and a meeting regarding the 4th of July celebration where we had PD and parks and everybody involved in that. And I want to say again, I'm impressed by just the level of cooperation that everybody sits down in those meetings to have. Because there's some pretty strict things that have to be followed, and there's some pretty strong lines of absolute, you cannot do this or you must do that. And everybody sits down and has a great conversation. And I know the chief helped me out on a couple of them in there to handle some questions that I had, and I thank that. But I'm impressed with the relationship we have not only with the City of Stafford Fire Department, but also the building relationship we are having with the fire marshal. And I think permits today works with them, and Courtney has a great relationship with Fire Marshal John Lopez over there, and it shows in how productive we are and how quickly we're getting stuff back. So thank everybody involved in that particular meeting. That wraps it up for fire, and now City Administrator's report.
Thanks, Mayor. Just a few things tonight for council. First of all, you might have noticed that in your agenda item or in your agenda packets, it's changed a little bit. We've got these little agenda item forms here for you. If it helps, again, we'll keep doing it. For staff, it gives us a little bit of opportunity to get some check marks in on what we need to do to prepare items for the agenda. But essentially, it's an item for you guys to have some summary, some recommendations, and list the attachments as well. So that's brand new for the meeting. Most importantly, I think Courtney's okay with it. So
I find it very helpful. Listening through these notes.
Good, very helpful. We'll keep that up, and for staff, it gives us an opportunity to make sure we've done everything we need to do before things get on the agenda. Speaking of staff, we've had the opportunity to have some good staff meetings. Staff has been in a lot of discussions lately, taking care of a lot of what I might call administrative functions. We've been talking a lot about timesheets. We've been talking a little bit about time off requests, that kind of thing. So I think we've gotten some good feedback from staff on that, and I think we're making some good improvements to our own processes in-house. The other thing that we're doing, just so you guys know, for the longest time, the city... Oh, am I not speaking loud enough? Taking some getting used to. For the longest time, the city has been using Bank of America for our credit cards for staff. We're actually going to be switching over to Independent Bank for a few reasons. Anna Maria has done some research on this. In addition to having a credit card that gives us a little bit of cash back, it also is a customer service decision for us. We feel like Independent Bank has given us some good customer service, and we expect that with the credit cards, am I doing better? With the credit cards, we'll get some good customer service on that. The other thing I wanted to mention is so the other thing I wanted to make mention is that on Saturday when we had our budget meeting, there was some discussion about Chapter 30 in the city's Code of Ordinances. That, as you might recall, speaks specifically to the mayor and the city treasurer's authorization on being able to sign checks on behalf of the city. I talked to Courtney a little bit about it as well, and I think what we'd like to do is, in an upcoming meeting, have some good discussions with council about that ordinance itself, if anything needs to change, if it still makes sense for us. Really what we're trying to get at is, what is it that you guys want, right? What is it that you guys want to see in terms of checks and balances? What needs to come to council? What can be approved administratively? That kind of thing. It's probably a good idea to just revisit that. Other than that, as Anna Maria mentioned on Saturday, the CARES Act continues. It looks like we are going to go ahead and get our hazard pay back for our officers, which is wonderful news. That said, we still have something on the order of about $175,000 or so left to spend as a part of our authorization from the county. So as we move forward on that, I think staff is probably going to be coming to council and asking you guys for some ideas related to that CARES Act funding. We want to make sure that we spend this money properly. We have until the end of the year to spend it, and so we are definitely wanting to have some dialogue with you about ideas. We don't want to let the year go by without utilizing that money the best way we can, and so we want to talk to you guys about that moving forward. So just kind of as a food for thought, think about some obviously COVID-related expenses that we might be able to utilize that on for the balance of the year. And with that, that's my report.
Very good. We appreciate that. Does anybody have any questions for Nick about the items that he's just covered? All right. I know I'm impressed listening to him. I really am. I thank you so much, Nick. Moving on to item D, Mayor, Council, and comments. I want to start off with a little something that's I put down here before I actually knew we were going to be videoed. I'm going to go with it anyway, and that's resident input. We at the city get calls more frequently than you might think. And I know with social media, we have a lot of stuff posted out there that maybe doesn't necessarily filter its way directly to us. But on resident input, I want to thank everyone who contacts the city. And I want to say, for those that are listening, you and your inquiries are always valuable and most enjoyable. As a city and as a council, we do value resident input and ask everyone to please let us hear from you. This is going on the record, so I'll hand you this sheet here in a little bit. We like to hear from you things. In the last 3 weeks, I've heard about fledgling owls, hawks, and night herons, like the ones that photos sent from up at McDonald Park. We want to hear about concerns on safety, and I cannot stress that too heavily. Our police want to hear from you, so please let the police decide whether or not there's a problem. People selling or taking a survey are not always what they say they are. Some people cruising around, whether on a bike or on foot or in a car, could just be casing your house to see when you're there or when your neighbors are not there. Maybe if we call the police, they'll go cruise somewhere else instead of up and down our streets. So please call the police. They're there and they want to come out there and clear these guys out. We want to hear about things like sidewalks that need repair. You heard some things mentioned here a minute ago by Public Works. They're always getting feedback as well. We want you to call. Because of input from the public, a couple of years ago, we doubled our sidewalk budget and based on the resident requirements for repair. Actually, we over-doubled it. It proved to be a huge success. So I'm asking anybody out there that's listening right now, if you will email our Public Works Department with an address, we'll check it out and evaluate it and put it on the list. For somebody to go on public display and whine about somebody getting hurt and not contact us is not the thing to do. We want to hear from you. We don't want anybody getting hurt on any of our sidewalks, not if we can help it. So please contact Public Works. We put it on a list. We run them through, and we'll be starting probably October 3rd on the next budget year, and we'll be moving repairs down, and we do it by evaluation. So please, if you see some or you trip on one, contact Public Works. We'll go out and right away, and we'll evaluate it, and it'll either be done right then or put on a list. So contact Eric. Water questions are another area that City Hall drew a huge response. After Houston had that massive water main break, many of our residents called wondering if our water was affected. No, I'm sorry, I'm not taking your call. And they were wondering, they were worried, and they said, are we getting polluted? Is what's going on? We weren't, but it was the genesis of creating a water information series that Eric alluded to a little bit ago. I've met with Tom Erickson with Erickson Advertising. He's come out with a series of, I think it's 7 little water questions that'll be coming out about once a week, starting in about a week. And then after that, we're going to have a little couple-minute video on our water system. I can't wait to see it because I think it'll answer a lot of people's question, and it'll show you how well secured and how well done our water system is. So keep your eyes out on Facebook and our website and Instagram. The city has always responded to your questions and concerns. This is an outstanding council. They ask questions. They want to hear them. I get feedback all the time from you, but I also hear people say, well, I didn't ask. Well, please do. This council, along with staff, are truly concerned about being the best we can be and want to make sure that your input to me, to council, to the city administrator, the police chief, or any of our staff comes in and we consider it valuable and certainly worthy of a response. We're 1 square mile of a little city doing big things. We want to hear from you, so make sure we're doing the things you want us to do and hearing about the things that are either making you happy or bothering you. We're trying to make this city certainly a better place and continue to be your place for life. And I want to thank whoever it was contacted the city about positive things as well. Angie got a plate full of cookies the other day. So that happens as well, and I know the PD does. So thank you very much, and let us know what we can do to better serve you. Item B, COVID. Thank you, first responders. You heard tonight we had a couple of police officers with infected. It's a dicey situation in City Hall. And I want to go on the record and publicly say thank you to all of our first responders, those who are on the front line who go about their jobs on a daily basis despite the risk of COVID. Simply put, Chief, thank you. Thank you very much to you and all the men and women of the fire department, Fort Bend EMS, and of course our very own Meadows Place Police Department. And Chief, if you would pass that on to the troops, I would appreciate it. I know this council feels the same way because I've heard them say it. So thank you very much. I just wanted that to be mentioned specific. On a little bit of a lighter note, we had our Where in the World is our Meadows Place Butterfly Bottle Project. It was a little different this year. This is our Meadows Place Monarch Butterfly, and last year we had entries from Tasmania, all over Italy and Europe and Canada and Mexico and South America and the Andes, and we were a little closer to home this year. Had a lot from the Meadows, a lot around our lake, but the winning pose came from a statue down in Galveston. Many of you have seen it, of the man, the woman, and the child, the survivors those lost during the 1900 storm. And that was sent in by a longtime Meadows Place resident, Pam Muldowney. So congratulations to the Muldowneys. They're winning a dinner for 2 plus dessert at Avenida Brazil. So way to go, congratulations. It'll be back next year, and I don't know who you are. Do what? Live screen's gone, okay. Somebody call in? Okay, maybe we're down. I don't know.
Let's not pay the bill on live stream until we figure this out.
Yeah. But item D, budget season. We're closing in on the final push for Meadows Place budget. We've walked through council, as you know, with all the different department heads. We've reviewed our finances. We just got our numbers from Fort Bend CAD. We've not heard from the tax department, but what a strange year it's been, including this live streaming. Ups and downs, uncertainty plagued the process, and everybody knows that. However, council, I want to compliment y'all. You've got a level-headed council, a great staff, and y'all work together very, very well. I'm very impressed by that, and I want to thank you because the desire to work together and make sure we're performing up to our normally have standards, but also paving the way for the future. So, council, thank you very, very much for that. Next item is council comments. Rick, you got it.
All right, we continue to make progress on the Kirkwood reconstruction. We're mostly down to some punch list items and finishing the landscaping. As everyone has seen, we have continued to have damage from the Vroom delivery trucks. We're addressing that with them. Luckily, so far, we've been able to get insurance information from those vehicles. So we're pursuing the claims against the drivers of the vehicles. We're continuing to have conversations with Vroom about properly routing their trucks. And we're going to have continued discussion on that later on this agenda. Once we pay invoice 15, it'll bring us to about a little over $3 million paid, leaving $343,000 and change left. So we're getting pretty close to the end of the project. Center points, our lights are mostly on. Glad to see that's finally in. And we'll just continue to see how we can get the job done.
Is there anything left besides landscaping?
They still have to move a few of the signs that ended up being behind the relocated center point poles. They were still missing a couple of speed limit signs the last time I was out there. And so just mostly minor work.
Did you and Henley go walk the tree? Did he go walk the trees or something? What was the problem?
So there's different thoughts about how you plant trees on a project like this. Terry did have concerns that they were too close together, and as they age, they're getting too close. Had some discussions with the landscape architect. If you plant the trees based on maturity, it's going to look awful bare until they actually grow. So they overplant, knowing that you're going to have to take some of the trees out in the future, just so the project looks habitated now with the trees.
Rick, given the damage, how about that? Can you hear me? Given the damage to the roundabouts, are we rethinking what we're going to do with that area? So, you know, it happened once. You know, another tire can find its way in and tear all that stuff up again.
So one of we're going to have a change order for the project on the agenda tonight. One of that is moving some of those boxes and heads further away from the curb. We continue to look at whether we need to go back with some stone on the curb. One resident has recommended we move the big rocks to the curb line. I'm not a fan of that just because that's a traffic hazard. I want to continue to work with Vroom on their deliveries, simply because when Vroom was shut down, we didn't have a problem. As soon as they started back up, we've got all kinds of trucks on our residential streets again. We need to address it with them.
Which I think we're doing tonight.
Correct.
So do you have a projected end date? Or a guess?
Contract end date is technically in September. We think they'll be done well ahead of that. We do have one resident driveway that still needs to be addressed. But we're getting pretty close to done.
I know.
I may make my full term.
If you haven't driven down Kirkwood at night. I urge you to do so. It is beautiful. I mean, that place, it just looks magical. Somebody earlier this evening said it looks like walking down Disney at night. I mean, it is just that magical. I've had several people call in and talk about it and talk about the different image that we project out to not only our residents but people coming through because of the difference in the landscaping. And I would like to point out to Rick, I scoffed at for a while at people, at the number of trees we had in the little Pender Park area that's now the Helfman Park. And about, well over a third of that was mud because it was all shaded. We took 22 trees out of that area. Yeah, 22 trees. And I was often thought, boy, that was just stupid. Now I think back, well, maybe somebody planned ahead and overplanted so that the park would look populated and beautiful until the time where we took them out because they're now reaching 40 feet. And I think that may have been what happened. I'll give them credit for its due. But
I have received some comments about the types of plants that were chosen, that, they look like somebody, planted clumps of hair and things like that. The plants that were chosen were mostly natives and or plants that take less water, less maintenance. And our goal was to not spend a whole bunch of money on maintenance. It was going to be things that would be reoccurring. We didn't have to go out and change them a couple times a year, once a year, whatever it was. These should be plants that continue to come back year after year. And most of them flower at different times, so we should have different color depending on the seasons.
it's almost as if we had an award-winning landscaper design that for us. Anything else? Anybody got any questions for Rick? Rick, thank you very much. I'm excited, and I know you'll be excited to say, hey, we're done as well. All right, with that, we're moving on to the regular agenda. Item E, number 1, if I can find it, is to review and accept the quarterly investment report for the second quarter of the year 2020. I know everybody has he'll be up soon. Do. It's right here. So item number 1 is review and accept the quarterly investment. Oh, he's already online.
I'll move to approve.
Okay. Oh, well, then if you can unmute him and he can talk, and oh, well, that's great.
So you have a motion and a
I
second.
have a motion and a second on,
I'm the motion, Steve's the second.
so we had motions and second. Any further discussion? All in,
Just reminder to council, while it looks like we have a lot of money in the bank, we have another 4 to 5 months of running in the red because we only have 1 or 2 months of running in the black when the property tax comes in from the county.
yes. All right, with that reminder, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. Okay, we are now on item 2, discussion and consideration of ordinance 2020-20, ordinance amending chapter 71 and 2, the Meadows Place Code of Ordinances, establishing a new no parking loading zone within the right-of-way, City of Meadows Place. Okay.
So I will make a motion to approve an amendment to Chapter 71 to install some additional no parking zones as amended. And I'm not sure if the rest of council got that amendment. Okay. We are no longer going to do a loading zone. It's going to be no parking zone only.
Does everybody understand that?
No park
From Southwest Freeway to Bloomington.
on either side?
Correct.
It will, correct, it'll be no parking from 59 to the edge of the commercial property, which is about 150 feet short of Bloomington, both the north and the south side.
Okay. So where are they gonna unload? Are they gonna go in front of that trailer that was put there?
Can we get a second first?
Second.
Second.
Have a motion by Rick, second by John. Any discussion?
So the mayor's been talking with Scott Jacobson, and it sounds like Vroom is good with no parking on both sides of the roadway. They will find a way to unload within their facility.
Great. They have
Okay,
plenty of
Scott
room.
Jacobson is on the phone with us. I believe, Scott, is that, you accept that statement as fact? Okay, they would love it to be no parking along Dorrance. I believe that's the same thing that you and Councilman Besner discussed last weekend. Is that correct? Okay. So with that, we have a proposal to,
No, not the motion doesn't.
Oh, I need to amend my motion because we also have no parking on Meadowcrest from Mulholland to 125 east of Mulholland. And that is to address the no parking there in front of those residences just off of West Airport.
Is that the north and south side?
That one would be the north side only.
Okay.
And it basically goes from Mulholland to just past the mailboxes.
Perfect. Thank you.
John, we've had an amended motion. Do we have a second still?
An amended second.
Okay. So we have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion?
So on Vroom, we had a discussion last week about this, and I met with Scott. I've gone through it, and I don't know if you can hear me. I'll try to speak. Need a longer. I'm too tall for this. We instructed code enforcement to go take a look at the property. I walked the property. I found a lot of trash. I saw stumps that were there. I spoke to Scott. Scott thinks that he's doing a good job. He's not. So we were going to have code enforcement and perhaps even skip that step and go directly to the police and have them issue a citation. Has that happened?
That has not happened. We had, code enforcement was out and just came back. She's been on COVID quarantine and trying to catch up, and we will have a scheduled meeting to address that further tomorrow. Discussed it a little bit today.
And is Scott, can you hear me? So is there anything else from a community involvement, a community participation, a partnership that Vroom, that you can represent that we would do with the city? So he could hear me, now he can't. That seems to be the story with Vroom. Is there anything else besides a no parking zone that Vroom can offer or that we can partner together to try to make some of these issues go away and to repair the relationship with the city? What would you, Scott, what would you like the citizens to do? Oh, sorry. Can't hear me.
There's a delay.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, Scott, let me reiterate something that we had a conversation today. One of the things that Scott was saying that the dog park is just about ready to go open, but you're waiting on the dog watering stations. When are those due in, Scott? Okay, assuming that they come in this. Okay. So the dog park then is just basically ready to reopen as soon as you get those pieces, and you expect them in this week. Is that correct? Okay. The issue of the landscaping and things, I think there's a possibility that we have a different set of expectations, and we may need to sit down and talk about that. Okay. Okay.
Scott, oh, sorry. I'm on a roll. Yeah, I'll let you go here in a second. The mayor stole it from me.
Oh, sorry. Take it back.
Scott, what would you like our citizens to do when a Vroom vehicle tears up the landscape? Should they email you directly? When a Vroom vehicle tears up the landscape, what would you like our citizens to do? Should they email you directly? Okay. Okay, so what I think we should do is I'd like to have the citizens email the CEO, paul@vroom.com. Scott doesn't want to hear our complaint, so we're going to go over his head. So for all those who can hear me on live stream, it's paul@vroom.com. So you should email that guy. I can't think of anything else at this point. Go ahead, Rick.
So Scott, I think you're getting the idea that council's not happy, the citizens aren't happy, we're not happy with the way Vroom's been conducting their business. And one of the things that I want the mayor and city manager to do next is to send Vroom a letter telling you and Paul up in New York that I plan to bring Vroom's special use permit to every city council agenda until we get this straight or we vote to pull your permit. And that's going to be done under section 5E of your special use permit that says, oh, sorry, wrong section. But basically, if you, let's see here. City council may appeal this SUP if any of the terms or conditions contained in this ordinance, the city's code of ordinances, or any development agreement is violated. So therefore, every time you violate any of our city ordinances, that gives us a reason to repeal your special use permit. I had intended to have this on this month's agenda, but the attorneys came back and said we needed to give you due process and notice. And so we're going to get you a letter that puts you on notice that we're going to be looking at Vroom's SUP every month until we get this fixed or it gets voted out.
Scott, that was Councilman Rick Stagley.
Basically, Scott, you don't get it. You haven't been getting it for months. You think you're doing great, and we're fed up.
Wait, Scott? Scott, this is Charles Jessup. Hey, Scott, this is Charles Jessup. Let me interrupt you. We've got a whole meeting and a whole city's worth of business to run. This is obviously an important topic for us, and I can tell from your willingness to jump in here with both feet that it's an important topic to you. We want to have a better relationship with you, and you want to have a better relationship with us. Let us get through this. We're in the middle of budget season, but this is going to something that we're going to move into in front of that. And I'll call you by Thursday noon to set up just a casual coffee conversation between myself and anybody else that
I'll be if I'm available, I'm happy to join.
Yeah.
I don't buy any of those arguments. And finally, I can pick you apart one by one. I'm sorry you did a bad deal with Texas Direct Auto. It's not our problem. I'm sorry that when I look at the landscaping, I walked the property. I took 80 photos. I sent you the photos. And it's not great. And I'm not going to get involved in landscaping and trash. We'll just sit our city code enforcement out there. The vehicles, a little bit of community involvement would go a long way. When we have residents out there cleaning up the street themselves, if a room car would come by and say, hey, can I lend a hand and get involved in the community? There's so many ways that we could fix this. But I'm not sure if there's a willingness at this point.
Okay. That said, we'll get that meeting together, and anybody else that would like to. I've got 3 or 4 hands thrown up here, so we'll try to coordinate that. I'm going to let you do that. We'll get this done. We'll get a meeting, and we'll all sit down and have kolaches and coffee or something, okay? In the interim, does anybody have any direct questions for Scott Jacobson before I move on and try to get this resolution passed? No.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, well, I do.
Scott, that's it for us for now. Wait, John, go ahead.
Yeah. Scott, I just have one question. You say the carriers come in. Do they call somebody when they're in the zone or in the area so they can get a second reminder, don't go here or don't go there? Just curious.
Okay, I can answer that question because, yes.
There's no coordinator or anything that, programs this? Do they come to a certain person?
No.
I understand. I deal with them all the time. Okay, this is nothing new to me. Okay, so let's just talk later. Okay, I think there could be some improvement here with a few simple tweaks. Thanks.
And that'll be a perfect topic of conversation when we sit down. Better order some extra kolaches. Okay. Scott, thank you very much.
You may need to call.
Hang around and listen, or you can.
You may need to call a meeting.
Oh, we will.
Yeah,
we will.
More than one.
Because it'll be a quorum.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it. Thank you for the reminder, though. All right, so we are now on item number, number 2. Ordinance 2020-20. We've had a motion and a second. We've had plenty of discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, what that means to you, Scott, is we're going to be, did he? Okay, good. We're going to be putting up no parking signs. All right, moving on. Item number 3, discussion and consideration of Resolution 2020-33, designating Charles Jessup, David N. Man, I'm not used to that. I was wondering, who's this guy? N. Habe, City Administrator, Courtney Rutherford, Secretary, as authorized representatives, and Finance Director Anna Marie Weston as an inquiry representative for the city's tax pool investment account.
So moved.
Motion by John,
Second.
second by Kurt. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item 4, hope you all have all read this. Discussion, consideration, resolution 2020-34, accepting the 10-20-year write-off per Texas Property Tax Code, Section 33.05, limitation on collection of Texas. Letter from the Fort Bend County Tax Assessor, Collector, Carrie Surratt. Have a motion by Rick.
Second.
Second by Steve. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, here's one. Item number 5, discussion and consideration of an ordinance number 2020-21, authorizing and allowing under the act governing the Texas Municipal Retirement System, updated service credits, and consumer price index CPI or cost of living adjustment in said system for service performed by qualifying members of such system who are presently are members of the City of Meadows Place. Courtney, you want us to make a run at that, or Nick? Just brief. Yep.
It's done. Thank you. This is done manually every year in order to keep up with both the updated service credits as well as the CPI portions of the city's retirement system. It's July, so it's time. There are two different ways to adopt updated service credits in a
This is what I wanted to get to. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So there's two different ways to adopt updated service credits in a city. One way is to do it.
When we get new speakers, we need longer things.
One way is to. I just don't like this. One way is to do it ad hoc, which is essentially what we do here. Every year, it's manually done. The other way to do it is to basically automatically set your updated service credits and your COLAs or your CPI. The difference is, short term, it is cheaper to go ahead and adopt these manually every year, which the city's been doing just fine for years. Long term, and by long term I mean probably somewhere on the order of about 15 years or so, it is more cost effective to do rolling updated service credit and CPIs, but short term it is a lot more expensive to do it that way. It's not broken. I'm not suggesting we fix it at this point. Again, it'd be a big hit right now and you wouldn't see the return on that for about 15 years from now. So my recommendation is, I just got here, I don't think we're ready to tackle this yet. We should just go ahead and approve this unless and until we can get to a point where we can talk more deliberately with TMRS about amortizing that over many, many years. I know it's a little bit confusing. The whole subject's confusing. Pensions are confusing. But essentially the way we do it now is not broken. But at some point in the future, we may want to talk about switching over to automatically letting this go every year.
And I suggest that we do get and have that meeting. So, all right, with that explanation and the go from our city administrator, do I have a motion? So moved. A motion by John,
Second.
second by Kurt. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Hang in there, Tia.
Yeah, we still have that. This doesn't have to do with that, but that's another.
Except yours, we registered you. Item 6, discussion of consideration of ordinance 2020-22, amending the city's general fund budget for fiscal year October 2019 through September 30, 2020, in the line item amount of $6,000, I'm sorry, for the amount of $6,000 in line item 100-050-533-010, security cameras from line item 100-060-5726-016, parks facilities M&O for field house cameras. Okay, we talked about that in the workshop session. With the chief, we appreciate all the help that PD and ProCam put that in there, but all we're doing is moving money from one part of their budget to another so we can put the cameras up next week. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Kurt. Second by John. Busy end of the table. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, camera motion passed unanimously. Okay, here's one that we also talked about in the workshop. This is item 7, consideration of an ordinance 2020-23 amending general fund budget for the fiscal year 2019, October 2019, ending September 30, 2020, in the amount not to exceed $35,000 to the line item 100-060-580-000, Parks and Rec capital improvement from the general fund for playground equipment, fencing, and signs at the Brighton Lane and Kangaroo Court parks, and the replastering of the lap pool. Motion by Rick, second by Kelly. Thank you. Any further discussion?
So I thought we were going to wait on the replaster until October or something.
No, well, when the actual work gets done may lead into October, depending on when they can actually start it. But if we're closed down for COVID for some reason, we can go ahead and get started early. And that way we do it in this fiscal year rather than next fiscal year.
And this is using a surplus from
Correct.
2020.
Correct. From this fiscal year. And we have all assurances that it will be done prior to and finished on this fiscal year.
As long as it's paid for out of this fiscal year.
Correct.
I don't care when the work's done.
Well, no. We can't pay ahead. As a city, we've got some legal restrictions on that stuff.
This budget amendment is for this fiscal year. We legally can't spend this money next year unless we come.
Oh,
to
okay, good.
authorize it.
Well, that's better.
Yeah, we got it. So, any further questions? Those are great. I hope everybody's listening. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion carries unanimously. That was a good decision, council. Item 8, discussion consideration of ordinance 2020-24, repealing ordinance number 2001-35, providing taxation for motor vehicles leased for personal use. This got to raise some eyebrows and got some discussion going. Kurt, I think you were one of those that were in favor of moving forward with this, if I'm not mistaken. I want to point out to you and the rest of council that this will not go into effect in this tax year. That goes into effect in the 2021-2022 tax year. Okay? With that information, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion to repeal by Kurt?
Second.
Second by Rick. Any further discussion?
What?
The overall tax or impact to the budget is about $8,000.
Meaning, who's using city vehicles for personal use?
Now,
No.
This is if you are leasing a vehicle, and which is different than the way this was explained to me when I first got on council. I was told that this was for vehicles that were sitting on the parking lot at Helfman and at Sterling McCall. Some recent research said, no, this is personal people renting or leasing a vehicle. We're charging them tax on that lease.
And we are going to repeal that ordinance that was done back in 2001. So we've had a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Motion carries unanimously. Council, I got to tell you, we're just giving up about $8,000 in revenue and saved probably about $1 million worth of aggravation to people who are leasing cars. Discussion and item 9, discussion and consideration of Resolution 2020-35, authorizing mayor to negotiate change order number 3 to the current contract with Marcon Services, providing for changes in irrigation and landscaping work which have been identified, particularly to minimize the possibility of vehicular damage to the city's infrastructure over time for the Kirkwood reconstruction project. We touched base on that a little bit earlier. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Rick, second by Kelly. Any further discussion?
And just a little information to council. You'll notice that this is actually for a negative $23.74. While we're increasing some of the work, we've also identified some of the quantities that have changed, and we were able to reduce those quantities that are not being used. So there's really no overall impact to the contract amount, but we're getting the extra work. This does do repair for vehicle damage, not only from the semis, but also from the drunk driver that hit the one hit the porta potty. We are getting insurance money, or we're pursuing the insurance money on all those. So even though we're going to pay the contractor more, we plan to get that back through insurance.
Glad nobody was in there. Do I have a motion? Oh, I have a motion in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, discussion of and consideration of new city limit signs. Council? Hold on a minute. Eric, can you pick those signs up? Yes. Yeah, turn them around, let everybody see them. They see them down there, they need to come up. No. Actually, probably can. While we're waiting, let me say this has been a long time coming, a project that we've been working on a long time. And I would like to say thank you to Kurt Kopczynski for taking the lead on this project. And I want to say thank you to Tia Baker, who, with her engineering contact, maybe we can put chairs on there and lift them up. Eric, oh, is it fine? I want people to see them. Okay, there you go. So I want to say thank you to Tia Baker for having these signs made up for us to look at. And so, public, that's what they're we're discussing tonight, and we're gonna pick one of those, I guess, or at least discuss it. So, Tia, would you take off and tell us what you got?
Yes, these are some signs that we came up with. Kurt actually brought it to EDC, and so we discussed it, and we wanted to update the signs that we currently have. They're smallish, so it's hard to see when you're going fast, which you should not be doing through the city. But when you're going regular speed, it's very hard to see them as they're too small. So we've come up with a couple of different options that we all kind of decided on, and we're bringing to council so you guys can see. These are actual size of the signs. Each of them are a little bit different with different fonts. So, you know, we're asking that council take a look and decide what you guys like, and then we go back and kind of go from there.
So one thing to note on these signs, you'll see two of them are laid horizontally. So those would be the ones that would be on the busier intersections, busier streets, Airport, Kirkwood, Derry Ashford, if approved. And then the one that is up and down there, vertical, that would be a neighborhood sign. So one that would be entrances from Houston so that people, you know, it's in their face. You're coming into Meadows Place. We're not just a neighborhood. We are a city. So that was kind of the rationale behind it. And we sized the letters a lot bigger than what they are currently so that they're more easily seen.
And Rick's over there gloating.
And Rick, I absolutely welcome your comments on it. That's why they're here for council is for comments.
Well, I guess my only question so far was, when we look at the wind load on them, is this going to fit on a U-post, or are we going to have a two-post sign?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'm thinking this big one in the middle is a two-post sign.
Yes. The largest one, I believe you are correct. Just looking at it myself, I agree with you. I think the other two, we can probably get away with the U-post.
And we don't have a bid on these yet. We just got the files, the media files 2 days ago. And so just got them printed out. This was kind of the first step of, hey, are we on the right track? And if we are on the right track, I can go out for bid and see what it would cost. And EDC would be picking up the cost on this.
I'm sorry, could you please repeat that into the microphone?
The Economic Development Corporation would be paying for this.
Yes, that is true.
And the reason Charlie said I'm gloating down here is I'm always pestering him about the size of our lettering on the sign.
I got it about 3 years ago. Honestly, I got it.
I used to give a lot of presentations to Dulles Junior High Career Day, and one of the things I would tell the kids is the freeway signs that are overhead that you go under that says whatever street next exit, those signs are actually bigger than your car. Those letters are 14-inch letters or 16-inch letters.
Where I got it, what really had an impact, what did we do there on?
Oh, it was on Ainsworth.
Yeah.
On Ainsworth when we were going to have it cut off or something.
Closed it for 2 weeks or something like that?
Right, when the pipeline was doing some work.
Yes.
The size of that sign astonished Charlie.
It did. Until they put it up, and I went by and went, finally, a sign I can see. So, what are we here to do tonight?
So I have
Kurt?
a comment. I have a concern with the population that we're just completing a census, and we may get an updated number, and we are considering going to homeroom city, which requires 5,000 residents. I'm not sure if we should be putting a sign out if we're going to be changing this next year or so. That maybe we ignore that we don't put the population yet.
And that was a discussion that we had. I think we wanted to kind of give you an idea of look and kind of decide where we wanted to go there, but we have had those discussions that the population would likely be updated or left off. That's something that council would decide.
Definitely feel that population is necessary to have on there, kind of let people know we are a city. This isn't a neighborhood. This is a city. So council, tonight, what I would like to ask is making a decision between the two horizontal signs. Those are the two designs we have for the larger signs. So if there was a consensus amongst council, we can at least move forward knowing which one would be selected, or picking one and making additions to it.
Like two posters. I wouldn't put that in one of the shoulders.
It's a two poster. No, they're two posters. Okay.
This one's a single poster.
The LJA
Just
logo will not be
note
on the
that will
official
not be
sign.
on there.
And again, if you would pass on to the folks at LJA that we appreciate them because they built this council for us for these visuals at no charge to
Yes.
us. So thank you very much.
Absolutely.
For that.
So what I will tell you is the middle sign looks to be official highway lettering. The one over here on the right with the stylized Meadows Place is non-standard. Doesn't mean we can't do it,
Much more inviting and appealing.
but
That one?
it will be harder to read from the vehicle. I will tell you that.
At 80, but the chief's going to be there. And so,
I do prefer that sign is smaller. The smaller sign is going to be, number one, less expensive. Number two, easier on the pole. It won't have as much wind loading.
so we're looking at this one in Eric's right hand to put them throughout the city, like where we're entering, coming back from Lopez.
Correct.
And, yeah, and this one would be like coming in where?
Airport right here off of 59. It could be Kirkwood as well, coming into the city. Derry Ashford coming into the city as well. And then on Airport for traffic heading towards 59.
So basically, we're putting these as FAW official signs. For the first time, I'm actually concerned, like Steve is, about the population. But the point of the sign is to point out that we're a city, and those actually kind of call for
general law
population.
city.
A general law city. They still call for a population. So, all right. Well, I don't mind telling you, I'm in favor of the one the chief's got, simply because it looks more inviting, more appealing to the.
Both of the large ones are probably going to have to be mounted in the median. I don't know that you're going to be able to get those and not impact where the sidewalk is.
If it's possible, we could shrink down the signs a little bit if that would make it to where we can fit on a single pole. I would just need to know what those dimensions are, and if we can keep the lettering the same size or very close to it. I don't know where to find that information, Rick, if that's something you have, or if I need to contact the folks who make the signs.
What I'm going to tell you to do is go take the sign out there on the street. Yep. And then go drive by it and tell you if you think you can read it or not. Have somebody stand there with it holding it up.
Mm-hmm.
The letter size on the one on the right is really too small.
Mhm.
And maybe we don't end up making a choice tonight. Maybe we set up a time when everybody drives by it so you can see it out there on the street.
Now let's have Chris Golick hold those signs up.
All right, Chris, I hope you're listening. We have a job for you. Sign holder.
I think that's a pretty good idea, is to set them up and drive by and look at them, especially now that we've got them here.
We're going to have another meeting in the middle of August for budget. We can put that sign selection on that meeting. It's only going to delay it 2 weeks and give everybody time to arrange to go out and see it on the street.
Great idea. Thank you.
All right, so at that, we're through with our discussion and have a plan of action Kurt, I'm going to let you continue to lead this, set up a time when you can have them, and those that can drive by, those that can't. Okay? Tia, thank you again very much. We appreciate your input on this. Your participation over at EDC kind of sucked you into that when you volunteered LJA to do this. So thank you very much to LJA and to our EDC. Moving on to item 11, discussion and consideration of ordinance 2020-25, setting August 25th at 6 p.m. at City of Meadows Place City Hall, 1 Troyan Drive, as the date, time, and place for a joint public hearing between City Council and Planning and Zoning to receive public comment regarding electronic signs. So, what we're trying to do is regroup, and council, we may have to kick this thing down again, but we need to move forward with something.
I'm going to say you don't kick it down the road too far,
Right.
because if you bring a city sign or a school sign and we don't have this addressed, I'm going to vote against it.
I understand.
Correct.
And your point is well taken, Rick, okay? That's why we're trying to...
Even if we have to do a public hearing through Zoom or whatever, we need to get these held.
We'll just get the coffee pot here and sit there and let people come in and they can watch on the screens up above us. All right, so now... No. We're setting this for August 25th at 6 o'clock. I have a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Rick, second by Steve. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Look at this, discussion and consideration of ordinance 2020-26, setting August 25th at 6 p.m. at Meadows Place City Hall as a date, time, and place for joint public hearing to receive public comment regarding carports. One will follow the other. And since we got the public here in planning and zoning, it'd be a good time to talk about it. Do I have a motion? Motion by Steve, second by John. Any discussion?
What's driving this request?
We had a couple people ask about carports, and we had some questions by code enforcement on carports, and
We're just looking for clarity.
and guidance, I think.
Or maybe change?
Maybe. Yeah. Because I've got some plastic and tin out there, and I covered my car. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay. Consent agenda. We've all had the minutes.
So moved.
Okay. Motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Now here comes the good one. Everybody get in line. Audience comments for matters not on the agenda. If there's anybody on the phone, anybody on Zoom that wants to call in, Tia, would you like to make some audience comments? Okay. Then I'm moving on to item H.
Move to adjourn.
Motion? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that one carried unanimously as well.